Hi guys, Sid here from Fract. Welcome to episode 3 of Interviews with Artists. We are with Tom, aka Please and Thank You. Welcome.
Thanks again. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
So could you tell me a little bit about yourself in a sort of short, condensed version and tell the listeners where they can find out more information about you?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Tom, Please and Thank You. I'm a Florida native electronic dance music producer and DJ. And you can find my links at Please and Thank You based on Twitter, Please and Thank You on Instagram, Facebook, and I believe that's probably where you guys will be. So it seems like Twitter is the hotspot for crypto.
So we're on this to really understand like a little bit about yourself. So where would you like to start?
Let's see, I guess probably just give a general overview to listeners that are maybe unfamiliar. I've had multiple number one charting singles on iTunes. I've had Billboard charting singles. I've had my work remixed by a ton of Grammy-nominated producers, song placements in television commercials, a couple successful tours on the music side, and then also played at many of the A-list dance music festivals here in the United States. And yeah, that's kind of the gist.
So when did the music part start?
Yeah, so I grew up playing piano at a very young age. So I think I was maybe 3 or 4 years old when I first started taking piano lessons, and then had been playing piano for many, many years afterwards, and became classically trained at piano. And then kind of in high school, my passion dissolved really because I grew kind of sick of the classical music route that my piano teacher was kind of forcing upon me at the time.
Etiquette, was that?
yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of got tired of playing the same classical music pieces over and over, and it was like here's the next one. And really my taste in music was also changing, just being, the classic 15-16-year-old high schooler wanting to listen to other things aside from classical music. So kind of took a break for a while and picked up the hobby of filmmaking. And this will all tie in. I'm not just going on a tangent here, but picked up the hobby of filmmaking at the time in high school as well. I was listening to, or just starting to get into, electronic dance music. So it was like the early days of many of the prominent acts that, are world famous and known today. And the scene for electronic dance music was just starting to bloom, really, at least in the United States, maybe. So I had this passion of filmmaking, and I said, my other fondness is in electronic dance music. So I figured out a way to combine the two and started shooting electronic dance musicians on tour when they would pass through venues in Florida, even though I was entirely underage and way too young to be there in the first place. But found myself shooting almost every weekend at local clubs here in South Florida for any act that would come through on tour, and eventually built up my portfolio enough to shoot at Ultra Music Festival in Miami, which is like the glorified, or like, just the top tier festival worldwide even. So that was kind of like my pinnacle. And I was a young, maybe 18-year-old at this time, running around with 30, 40-year-old guys from the Netherlands who were also shooting the festival and working on the live stream and whatever else. That was kind of like the pinnacle moment, and that's kind of like where my career led. And eventually went to college here in the States for filmmaking in Boston, and really just kind of found myself also again growing like stale of filmmaking and shooting the same, well, at least in Florida, shooting the same venues every single weekend, shooting almost the same angle, just a different DJ over and over again. So dropped out of college after one semester, and really just went back to like my roots of having this background in music making and playing an instrument, and wanted to just give it a go myself and start producing electronic dance music. So it really all started, well, I guess my passion started throughout high school, kind of found a different way into the industry, and then just completely repositioned myself starting to produce myself.
Wow. Okay. You're creating this music on your laptop. How long was it then until you got sort of
so the first the first release ever may still to this day be my most streamed release. So things happened relatively quickly. My first track ever was a remix of Baby Bash's Suga Suga, which is like a classic 2000s or not, I don't know if I'm getting the era right, but classic hip hop track. And that's really how I got my start. I started remixing old classic hip hop songs that people were maybe already familiar with. So I think it was almost like an unintentional clickbait, right? Like they see a song that they're familiar with, and then they want to check out this remix by Please&TY to that track. So yeah, put that song out, and I remember in a week it had maybe 3 million streams, and then now now today it has over 16 million. So that's really how I got my start, and then things just kind of kicked off from there.
Wow, that is a quick start, eh?
Yeah.
So then we go back, like, so how many years, or is it months, are you spending in the music business at that point?
So I think, before I'd even put out a single track or even created Please&TY, I was already, maybe unintentionally like involving myself in the music industry for at least 3 or 4 years. So I'd kind of seen everything behind the scenes, kind of lived vicariously through these producers as well. I was on stage, I was in their dressing rooms, I was hanging out with them. 3 or 4 years of music industry experience and knowledge and whatever else.
So if we look at like the music side, obviously I know there must be like a visual art side, because this comes from the filming. Have you always had that passion? Because obviously the next part is like getting into the NFT world, but like let's go back one step. Where was the art part developed?
Yeah, so the art really started once I kicked off. Well, I guess, filmmaking and photography is an art in and of itself, but I guess, the art, the true visual side of things really kicked off once I started my music project. Because now you're thinking, well, I need album artwork for my releases. I need visual content. I need teasers. I need whatever else. So I like to pride myself in finding, collaborators and partners really early on, who are now like some of the biggest names within the NFT space as well, that were working on my album artworks and art super early on, just for the Please&TY project before NFTs were even maybe a thing. I've always had a desire to have a really strong visual output for the project and kind of create visuals and an aesthetic for the project and the brand.
Sounds like you've got an eye for spotting talent there.
I would hope so. I would hope so at this point.
So then we kind of like, I suppose we fast forward, and the portal, no pun intended relating to Fract here, or we could say the rabbit hole. Where did that happen for NFTs for yourself?
Yeah, so my brother works at a growth equity firm here in the States, and they have a dedicated blockchain fund. So he's been on the pulse of crypto as a whole and anything related to blockchain. So last, I want to say July, he tipped me off to the Platform Foundation, which was just launching at the time. And they were also actually only doing physical products. So you would essentially buy the token and then burn the token to redeem the physical product, and it would get shipped to you. So I got in touch with Foundation, and I was one of the first 10 creators on their platform before, they became Foundation, really. So we released my very special EP, which had just come out at the time, on vinyl. and that was the physical product that could be redeemed via an NFT token burn. That's kind of where it started, and then eventually segued into the platform Super Rare. This is all on the Ethereum side of things as well. Segued into Super Rare, and really just went back to my roots, right? I went back to, reaching out to these collaborators that had been working with me on album artworks and tour visuals and whatever else, and I had this database and plethora of just content from before that could be NFT'd. So just kind of went back to my roots, hit up some old friends and really just got started on Super Rare and started making audiovisual art. Yeah, I guess that been doing that ever since, really.
And so when did the Solana, where did that happen?
Yeah,
and why, I guess, why did it happen?
Yeah, so I'd been going really strong on Super Rare and various other platforms on Ethereum for many months, and then obviously just going down the rabbit hole more and more and starting to follow everything that was going on. And I saw Solana and the potential of NFTs on Solana as well, and kind of how it reminded me kind of when I, to some, may have started late, or I don't know what perspective people look at things anymore, because, July of last year, that may be super early to some, but late to others. It's not a new thing. Super Rare still existed way before, but yeah, whatever. But Solana was relatively new in the NFT space, and I also saw like an uncharted territory and potential, and it kind of reminded me when I was first getting started way back in July, there was like a buzz amongst it that I could feel. And so, yeah, that just fascinated me. And also, just touching upon, just how uncharted it was, Synapses, which I'm sure we'll get to here shortly. It was the first ever audiovisual collection on Solana, right? So, audiovisuals weren't even a thing. This didn't even exist on Solana to date, where, it was everywhere on Ethereum. So really wanted to have a hand in doing something new and being, having a hand in doing something groundbreaking, really.
So given that Frat was the first generative art on Solana, did you see that partnership? Is that what attracted you?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know if this comparison's fair, but obviously art blocks is a huge thing on Ethereum, and it's so prominent, and the appeal to Fract was obviously there after, seeing that they were the first generative project on Solana, and also just the fact that the Fract launch, people don't understand that the devs, their team is so incredible. People don't understand really what it takes to launch on Solana versus Ethereum. These platforms on Ethereum already exist. You can mint on Super Rare, you can mint on Foundation, Rarible, OpenSea, whatever else. Solana, you have to put up your own website, you have to create your own minting mechanic. It's hard to do, and Fract did this before any resources were out there, really. Now people are talking about the candy machine, whatever else, what have you, and Fract did this before anyone. So insanely talented team, and all the credit goes to them. And yeah, I was obviously just fascinated and allured by that.
So I suppose you reached out to our founder then at that point.
Yep, got in touch with Tim and really just sparked a conversation about this crazy idea I had, which was Synapses being, the first ever audiovisual, and also the generative side of it as well, of course, which I thought would appeal. And yeah, just took it from there and sparked a combo and immediately hit it off. And, we were on the same page about everything the entire time. And I think, it was just really a fantastic experience to work with them and, still maintain the relationship and whatever else. And great minds think alike.
Well, yeah, certainly for those devs. I mean, unbelievable talent. So if we go back one step, the birth of Synapses, where did that come from?
I think it stemmed from, on Ethereum, it was all collaborations, right? All collaborations with visual artists and I would do the soundtracks and whatever else and lend my creative direction. Really, this was the first project where, you know, it was all me, and it was just something I had been wanting to do for a long time. I'm kind of tired of relying on other people or whatever else, and I think this was really like the project where I stepped out, and it was my visual and my audio, and you know, I was responsible for everything. And I think it's just been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and everything's led up to it, really.
So you've got a good first there, being the first launch with Frat. Are you following along with Frat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I'm a huge fan. So yeah, I've seen everything. I've seen it all.
And what about the future for yourself, Tom? What have you got? Have you got anything you can drop with me, or? Yeah,
so I mean, it's really crazy because when Synapses first launched, right, it was it was a dedicated art project and nothing more. And then I think after the launch, you know, we realized that this is something much greater and can be something much greater. And really the community just brought it to life. So yeah, Synapses is basically my child now, and I'm just continuing to find ways to provide value to the holders. For example, we just did a treasure hunt where holders were airdropped random synapses with essentially pieces. Each synapses would contain a piece to a link to an unreleased song, and the holders essentially had to piece together the link. One person would get HTT, the other person would get PS, www, etc. To build the link to an unreleased song. Once that was found, they would also receive royalties to the song in perpetuity, as well as audio tokens on Audius, where we hosted the unreleased track. So yeah, just thinking of new, creative, and outside of the box ways to provide value to holders. And you know, this is now my child that will grow and blossom and continue to be worked upon and built.
There in your head, whether it's going to be documented anywhere is unknown. You kind of like that mystery element to it all.
Yeah, I love the mystery, and I think I also take the approach that Fract very much takes, where I hate to overpromise, right, and reveal things that are not 100% ready or where we are 100% confident about doing. And I think just from a collector standpoint too, I think that's it's kind of just off-putting and almost wrong to do, to overpromise and then underdeliver. So we're all about the other side of things, where we want to under-promise and over-deliver, and only reveal things that are 100% ready. And yeah, that's kind of the stance.
Amazing. I love that. So now that people, there's, because there was obviously an unknown part to this whole collection. So really, hint, is that
things are absolutely coming.
Could you give more of a elaboration on that? Like, is it that should people be keeping eyes on their wallet, or is there somewhere else where all this should be happening?
Yeah, so I would just say keep eyes posted on the Discord, which you can find on my Twitter. My Twitter is Please and Thank You Based, and there will be a link right in my bio for the Discord. But and it's crazy because the members in the Discord are brilliant. They're almost smarter than me, and they seem to like put their finger on things before they're even announced. But if you do follow the Discord, or in the Discord, you've probably seen that we're working on essentially a combo and burn mechanism where multiple synapses will be combined into one. And then the two existing, or however many existing that were submitted, will be burned. So the collection size could essentially go from 2,000 pieces to 1,000 pieces to 100 pieces to any number. So there's a scarcity element, and yeah, that's kind of like next on the hit list. But okay, that's on the down low.
So that you don't want me to release that part?
No, you absolutely can. I think the Discord has already figured this out, but still.
Okay, so everyone get over to the Discord. That's where it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, still as you said, it's kind of like the mystery element of it, right? Is like the roadmap that's internal, but probably will also never be released to the community. Just announcements made when things are ready with enough lead time to promote. It will most likely just be an internal roadmap that will possibly never be released. More so just announcements made with enough lead time for people to figure it out and discover it, and also for us to promote it, really.
Tom, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thanks again. Thank you.